Hello and welcome to episode number 15 of the Everything NYJ podcast. How you guys doing today? My name is Liam. I am your host. I hope you guys are all doing well. It is finally spring. We're starting to get some nice weather. And we have a lot to talk about today. And we're going to get into free agency. But before we get into free agency, I have two different things I do want to touch on. And the first one, I understand it's a very touchy subject. It's a sensitive subject. But it's important and it's relevant to talk about, especially regarding the Jets. I want to talk about the Deshaun Watson drama, right? So what we know so far is that allegedly 16 women have come out and spoken against Deshaun Watson for sexual abuse, sexual harassment allegations. And I understand that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And that's the stance I have on this. I believe Deshaun Watson's attorney have already fixed or, solved two of these cases. They proved to be false. And I don't want to say whether if I think it's true or not because, I don't know. I don't know the truth. But I do know that he is innocent until proven guilty, until proven otherwise. If he's guilty, then yes, he should be punished, whatever. He's going to have to deal with that himself. But this is going to be a long process, and it's going to the courts. So there's a really high chance that he won't even be playing next year. And regarding the Jets, this ties into the Jets because there's a lot of speculation on the internet and on Twitter and everywhere else that the Jets were interested in trading for Deshaun Watson. But there has never been any rumors coming from the Jets saying that they were ever interested in Deshaun Watson. This is all from the fans and the media and the beat writers. The Jets have never specifically shown interest in Deshaun Watson. And you got to believe that with all this drama going on, a lot of teams are going to be steered away from Deshaun Watson. They're not going to be interested in trading for him. Especially Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas, I can't see him giving up multiple draft picks for somebody who might be facing a major suspension or might be forced out of the league next year. It's not going to happen. So with that being said, I do believe that Sam Darnold will be the quarterback next year. And I know that irks a lot of people. That doesn't make a lot of people happy. Some maybe it does. But getting into the free agency, before we really get into it, Corey Davis had said that he's excited to play with Sam Darnold. And the perception is that the Jets are telling these free agents that Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback. But I gotta say, man, there are no leaks coming out of one Jets drive. Ever since Joe Douglas became the general manager, nothing is getting leaked. These beat reporters, these ESPN analysts, these draft analysts, nobody knows anything about what's going on with the Jets. Everybody said that the Jets were going to be aggressive in free agency. They weren't. That's why we didn't get guys like Joe Thuney. And listen, we can't compete with guys like Joe Thuney. We can't compete with the Chiefs. If you have a chance of going to the Jets or the Chiefs, you're probably going to pick the Chiefs. It's just the way it is. The Chiefs have been a much better football team. They're a Super Bowl contender every year. And they're not as inept as us. They're not dysfunctional like we are. We're turning that around. I really do believe that. But we're not there yet. And many people, especially getting older, some veteran players, they don't want to go to a rebuilding team. They want to go to a proven team. A known commodity. So that kind of all ties into the Deshaun Watson drama. The other thing I want to talk about is Marcus May accepted his franchise tag. He signed the deal. He signed the contract, which is phenomenal. If you guys have been watching my videos on YouTube and if you guys have been following me on Twitter, you guys know that I am 100% a huge fan of franchise tagging Marcus May. It was a great move. It's a hole that we don't have to create this year. We have so many holes on this team. And I've said in the last episode, I want the Jets to go offensive heavy in this draft. And next year in 2022, go defensive heavy. So with having a veteran like Marcus May on the team, it helps. It's one more year that we don't have to worry about signing a safety. It's great. And there's not going to be any shenanigans going into training camp. You know, he's not going to be holding out. He's not going to be not signing deals. We're not going to be worrying. We got it taken care of. That's the way business should be. I understand some people do hold out. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're not happy and if you think you're worth more, then don't settle. That's fine. I completely understand that 100%. I'm really glad that Marcus May signed his franchise tag. Let's hope that he can repeat what he did last year, this year. Let's hope he even improves. I do understand that Marcus May is getting a little bit older. I believe he's 28, 29 years old. If he plays well this year, this upcoming season, I would be okay with signing him to a big deal, a big contract. I understand he's getting like a little bit older, but it is important that we start keeping our players. We have to start re-signing our homegrown talent. Especially a guy like Marcus May. He is a voice on the defense. He's the defensive captain. Rob Saleh is going to look to guys like Marcus May for advice on the team. He's going to be talking to Marcus May, the defensive captain, about the defense. They're going to be talking a lot, I guarantee it. So, with that being said, I do want to get into free agency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the free agents, their deals and everything. And then at the end, I want to give my grade. I want to give like what I think about it and where I would grade Joe Douglas so far with his free agent 2021 class. So the first free agent that we signed was Lions linebacker Jarrad Davis. It was a one-year, $7 million deal. Jarrad Davis went 21st overall in the 2017 draft. He's only 26 years old. Now, do I expect him to start? No. Now with guys like CJ Mosley coming back, I'm not super excited. I wasn't super excited about this when I first saw it, but it's a good depth piece. And before I continue, I want to say, Joe Douglas signed a lot of good depth pieces. He did. So, second, he signed Titans wide receiver Corey Davis, and I was super excited about this, right? This was a home run, A+++. I love this deal. I really do. It's a 3-year deal worth $37.5 million. $27 million guaranteed. That's a big contract. Everybody says Joe Douglas is cheap. He's cheap when he has to be. I'm not going to say he's cheap. I'm going to say he's very fair. This deal proves he's not afraid to give out some big contracts to players that he thinks are going to be worthy of it. He's not like Mike McCagnon, giving Tremaine Johnson and everybody else, these multi-million-dollar contracts. It's not going to happen. Sorry. He was drafted by Tennessee in 2017 with the 5th overall draft pick. He's coming off of his best season yet. 65 receptions, 984 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's only 26 years old. And sky is the limit for this guy. I really do believe that. I don't think we've even hit his ceiling yet. I really do think in the right system, he could be a 1,000-yard receiver. That's not impossible, guys. It's very doable. He came really close last year with guys like Ryan Tannehill throwing him the ball. Sam Darnold, on the other hand, I don't know. If we get somebody like Zach Wilson, then maybe. So third, I am also a big fan of this signing. We signed Bengals pass rusher Carl Lawson to a 3-year, $45 million deal. $30 million guaranteed. The Bengals drafted him in the 4th round of the 2017 draft. He's 6'2", 265 pounds. He's only 25 years old. And he only had 5.5 sacks last year, but he led the league in QB pressures. And that is big. You don't have to necessarily, sacks aren't everything. You don't necessarily have to sack the quarterback every play. But if you're getting in his face, causing pressuring him, you're going to cause him to make mistakes. He's going to be throwing incompletions. He's going to throw interceptions. Sacks aren't everything. Sacks are great, but they're not everything. Pressures make quarterbacks make mistakes. It happens. And that is a very important part. Also, we have been lacking a pass rusher for nearly 2 decades. Almost 15, 16 years. With John Abraham in 2005. We have not had a legit pass rusher since 2005. Can you guys believe that? That's insane. That is insanity, guys. So fourth, excuse me, I can't even talk today. We signed Saints special team superstar Justin Hardy Sr. He went undrafted in 2017. And apparently the Jets also want him to play cornerback. He's only 27 years old, so he's a little bit older, but nothing crazy. And it's good. He's a versatile piece, you know. He's great on special teams, and he can play corner. That's great, because our cornerback position is a little at this point. It's not great. It needs improvement. It's a very young position. And I'm all for letting him play corner. At least give him a chance. So fifth, the Jets signed the Jaguars wide receiver Keenan Cole. It's a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. He's coming off of his best season as well, 55 receptions, 642 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And apparently he could also be used as a kick/punt returner. He's 27 years old. He went undrafted. But he's another one. He's a versatile depth piece. Do I expect him to start as a wide receiver? Absolutely not. But the fact that he could return kicks and punts, that's great. It's one less hole that we have. He could do both. That's great. So sixth, we signed Chargers center/guard Dan Feeney. He has a nice mullet. I'd want to drink a beer with him, but he's one of the worst centers in football. He's a clear depth piece. You know, he's behind Connor McGovern or Greg Van Roten. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2017 draft. He's only 26 years old. But I don't think this guy's going to see the field. I really don't. And I understand we need depth pieces. And last year was a very good example of why we need depth pieces, especially at the wide receiver position. We went into the early, stages of the season with Chris Hogan and Vincent Smith and Braxton Berrios as our starting wide receivers. We don't have good depth, and we need it. So I don't care about signing a guy like Keenan Cole, Dan Feeney. Dan Feeney, I'm not a fan of. I don't understand this, but I get it. It's a depth piece. He's not going to be a starter, so I'm not getting too worked up about it. You can't. You really can't. Like I said, nice mullet, cool mustache, but I don't want to see him starting. I really don't. And he's not going to, so don't even worry about that, guys. He's going to be probably like the 3rd or 4th guy. He's not going to be seeing the field. A lot of people were very upset about it, and I don't understand it. But it's not like he had a huge contract. It's really not that big of a deal, in all honesty. So, 7th, we signed Raider safety LaMarcus Joyner to a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. He's another depth piece. 2014 2nd-round draft pick by the Rams, 30 years old. He's a depth piece guy. He's 30 years old. Was I big about this? Was I excited about this? Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of bringing in a 30-year-old depth piece. I'm just not. I don't agree with this one, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get too worked up about it. So 8th, we signed Bills tight end Tyler Kroft. He was drafted by the Bengals in the 3rd round of the 2015 draft. His best year was 2017. He had 42 receptions for 404 yards. That's pretty impressive numbers for a tight end. Last season, he had 12 receptions, 119 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's a depth piece behind Chris Herndon, Ryan Griffin, and Wesco. Do I expect him to get some starting reps? Yes, I could actually see him coming in, being a rotational piece. We need help at the tight end position. It is a very weak position, as we saw last year. Chris Herndon, I was not a fan of last year. I think Chris Herndon is a bust. I will give him one last chance to redeem himself this season. I'll start him, see how he goes. If it was up to me, that's what I would do. But we might be actually starting Tyler Kroft. He's a depth piece who could be a starter. I will say that. That is a very good signing. Number 9, we signed Saints tight end Sheldon Rankins to a 2-year, $17 million deal. He's a potential star in Saleh's defense. I will say that. The Saints drafted him 12th overall in 2016. He's 6'2", 305 pounds. He's only 26 years old. He has 17.5 career sacks. This guy could be a big playmaker next to Quinnen Williams and Carl Lawson. That defensive line could be elite this year, guys. I'm not kidding. Typically, we have had, historically, a good defensive line and a good defense. Last year, not so much. The year before that, yes, we were top 10. But I really do believe that with this defensive line, we could be top 5. I'm not kidding about that. I'm a big fan, I can't even talk. A big fan of this signing. All this nice weather is really getting to me, I guess. A big fan of this signing. And I do think he's going to be starting. And like I said, I do think he has the potential to be a big superstar here, guys. In 10th, we signed veterans defensive end Vinny Curry to a 1-year, $1.3 million deal, $1 million guaranteed. The Eagles drafted him in the second round of the 2012 draft. He has 194 career sacks, 32 and a half sacks. Excuse me, I messed that up. My notes are messed up. He probably won't start, but he has ties to Joe Douglas. That's the only reason he got here. I am a fan of this. He's a little bit older. I don't expect him to start, but like I said, it's a good depth piece. He's a veteran. He's going to be a voice on that defensive line. He's going to be a voice for guys like Quentin Williams, a little bit younger, guys like John Franklin Myers, Kyle Phillips. He's going to be a voice for those kind of guys. Guys are going to go to him for advice. And sometimes that is very valuable. You don't always necessarily have to be a starter. If you're getting older, maybe you take a step back, and it's all about giving back to the next generation, giving back to these young guys. That is a very important piece in football, and that's often overlooked. So finally, number 11, we signed 49ers running back Tevin Coleman to a 1-year, $2 million deal. The Falcons drafted him in the third round of the 2015 draft. 2018 was his best season. Last year, he had 28 attempts, 53 yards, and no touchdowns. He's not going to be a starter, but he has solid ties. That's the only reason I think he got signed. And he's a nice veteran to have in this running back room where there's really not a lot of, experience back there. There's really not. We have Ty Johnson, LaMicah Pirine, Josh Adams. I don't think Tevin Coleman's going to be starting, but he's probably going to get a couple reps. And like I said, also the same thing with Vinny Curry. It's good to get these guys in the locker room. It's good to get, these young guys can talk to them. That's very important. They can help coach these young guys up. So far, that has been all of our free agent class. That's been the entire class so far. It's not over yet. Am I a big fan of all these signings? Like I said, absolutely not. Am I a fan of Joyner? No. Am I a fan of Dan Feeney? No. But I'm not too upset about it. This isn't going to be the final team going into the season, guys. Guys are going to get cut. Guys are going to get traded. It happens. But if I had to give a grade so far, I'd probably give it a solid B. I really like Corey Davis. I really like Carl Lawson. Justin Hardy, versatile. Keenan Cole, very versatile. Sheldon Rankins, great piece. We have, we didn't get any big signings. We didn't get any big, huge names. Nobody was saying that we were going to be getting Corey Davis and Carl Lawson going into free agency. It wasn't happening. We wanted Joe Thuney. Obviously, we didn't get him. A lot of people wanted Juju Smith-Schuster. People were upset that we didn't get him. I'm not one of those. He signed for $8 million, so some people are like, why couldn't we overpay? Why couldn't we pay the Jets tax, sign him for $10 million, something like that? A lot of times, guys just don't want to come here. They don't want to come to a rebuilding team. It is a big turnoff for a lot of players, I'm being honest. In a couple of years, when we start to turn this thing around, I do think that we're heading in the right direction. In a couple of years, maybe we will be getting some big pieces. Maybe we will be signing some huge superstars. But we're not there yet. We're not one player away from being a Super Bowl contender. We're not one player away from making it to the playoffs. A lot of people are hard on Joe Douglas. A lot of people wanted him fired, and that is insane. He did a very good job. It's not perfect. Joe Douglas is not perfect at all. Never said he was, and I'm never going to say he is, because he's not. But you got to believe that him and Robert Saleh know things that we don't. How do we know that he's not, that some of these players aren't the guys that Robert Saleh wants for his team? Robert Saleh, a first-time head coach, he's not going to go for the big splashy signings, the big star free agents. He wants guys that he thinks are going to fit his system. Guys that we're probably not even thinking about. That's just the way it is, guys. It happens all the time. Let it play out. Relax a little bit. Joe Douglas has done a lot of great things since coming to the Jets. He cleaned up the financials. He cleaned up the cap space. He got rid of all those bad contracts. And he's given guys a lot of one-year prove-it deals. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind prove-it deals. I'm going to give you one chance. Here's a one-year deal. Show me what you got. Are you worthy of that big contract? Because I'm not just going to give it to you. You got to earn it. And I am 100% a big fan of that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't a fan of it. You guys just need to relax a little, man. Take a step back. Let the picture be painted. Right now, we're just putting colors on the wall. The painted is not pictured. The picture is not painted yet. That's what I'm trying to say. Let it play out. Stop overreacting. Stop calling for Joe Douglas's job. Stop saying that you want him fired. Stop saying you don't know what he's doing. Let him take his time. Let him build this team. We're in good hands, guys. I really do believe that. We are in good hands. Joe Douglas is in 100% control. Let him build the team. Anyway, so that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, so far I'm giving free agency a solid B. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. Please go follow me on Twitter at everythingnyj. Thank you guys once again for watching. Go Jets and have a good night. Thank you.